When I was a kid, maybe 6, Maryland Public Television, MPT, took Lassie rebroadcasts off the air. My younger brother, Stephen, and I were incensed. Our youngest brother, Jeffrey, hadn't been born yet, but I'm sure he was furious in utero. The Saturday morning following, Stephen and I came marching downstairs and went right to the set of desks our parents had set up for us in the living room. My mom asked what we were doing. Stephen told my mother, in no uncertain terms, that he'd decided I was going to write a letter to MPT and make them turn Lassie back on. Stephen was the spokesman and idea man, even at 3, so I deferred to him. We fumed about Lassie's removal. We were shaking with anger. It was outrageous. I excused myself and went to go scream in another room for a moment. Who did these people think they were? I was determined to let them have it. We were unaware that we were watching a television show that had gone off the air 30 years before our births. But even if we had known that, it wouldn't have mattered. Are we serious about getting Timmy out of the well or not, damn it? Even from an early age, my parents imbued in us the knowledge that although life wasn't just, we could always do something about it. We lived, the soon-to-be 5 of us, in a big house in the middle of a broken-down neighborhood in West Baltimore, lassoed by redlining and crippled by the drug trade. My parents' pleas to elected officials and city agencies about everything from broken streetlights to increased police presence near open-air drug markets were constant. Sometimes they got a response. Sometimes they didn't. But they were relentless because they were trying to create the world that they wanted their children to live in. At 6, I saw the discontinuation of Lassie as a perhaps less urgent injustice, but an injustice nonetheless. I assumed my parents' mantle and set about to make the world I wanted, a world containing a highly communicative collie with an impressive sense of urgency. At Stephen's prompting, I wrote a strongly worded letter to MPT on that beige paper with the big blue lines that they give you in first grade. My mother mailed it, and we waited. I remember going to the television the next day, turning it on, and being thunderstruck that they were still playing whatever trash they replaced Lassie with. "Haven't you received my letter?" I bellowed as I threw a plastic plate filled with plastic food against the wall of our playhouse. "What is this world coming to?" Eventually, MPT sent us a couple tchotchkes for our trouble, among them a mug with Disney characters on it. I unwrapped it and poured myself a juice, shaking with indignation. If this was a parable, I guess the lesson would be that life isn't fair, but if you complain, sometimes you get free things. Useful. For much of my childhood, the only television channel we were allowed to watch was MPT, so Lassie, R.I.P., Mr. Rogers, and Sesame Street were in heavy rotation. This was fine with me, especially considering Mr. Rogers was home to the original dramatic queen, Lady Elaine Fairchild, the fearsome, overly rouged, cardigan-wearing antagonist of the neighborhood of make-believe. I was obsessed with her feckless but fangless villainy, with her catchphrase, "Toots!" With her all-business dirty blonde bob. Lady Elaine would always like to speak with the manager. And although I was a very nice child, I absolutely loved the contempt with which Lady Elaine Fairchild viewed literally everyone else. Her misanthropy was electrifying. To this day, I'm amazed that someone as chill and Presbyterian as Fred Rogers created someone as over-the-top fabulous as Lady Elaine. She has a royal title, and she is constantly in feuds with her brother. She's essentially a reality star. And, like the most successful reality stars, Lady Elaine Fairchild is the gay icon we need and want. She has all the hallmarks of gay iconography, 80s edition. An old-timey name, frequent appearances in musicals despite a lack of apparent singing ability, eyebrows, no time to date because she's too busy plotting drama, hates people. Why is there not a Lady Elaine float at every Pride? Why can't I buy a bedazzled tank top that says "Toots" to wear to the beach? Where is the justice in the world? I didn't have as complex a read of Lady Elaine as a child. I just knew that this queen was extra as hell, and I was living for every terse line reading.